episode of Mr. and Mrs. Millennial. I'm Emily,
And I'm Brian.
and we are both employed.
Yes, we are.
I've been back at work. Technically, I've always been employed with the school district, but as I've said before, the district shut down when the pandemic started, yada, yada. I've been back at work now for about a month and a half, and I'm going to be back at work for a while. There's no foreboding signs of me not being back at work, so we're good there. But Brian has a new job, which we are both super excited about.
Yeah, so I got a job as a project coordinator. And what's funny is it seems like once you get one job, all sorts of jobs start coming in. It goes from nothing to everything basically overnight.
That seems to be the way of it.
But I'm really excited for it. It's going to be a good job, and it should be a good starting place to start a career.
Yeah, what's interesting is he got offered a job with the unemployment office, which he took because it's a job and it pays well. But he really wanted this project coordinator job, and he told me at work, "Hey, I got offered the job," and I was like, "Awesome!" Because it's what I've always wanted for you, Brian. It's a job that obviously supports our family, which we have to take into consideration,
Hmm.
but it's also a job that you're excited about.
Yeah, and it's not gonna be like breaking the bank or anything, at least not right away, but it's a fair amount and it's got the right title and it's basically got everything I'm looking for in a job, so it's good.
And because we're a dual income household, I mean, yeah, obviously it's never hurts to make more money or to, go up in your salary, but for our two income household, definitely works for
For
now.
sure. The biggest difference is it's not a non-permanent job, which is what the unemployment office job was. And
Right.
being non-permanent, it could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 3 months. I just don't know.
I'm definitely happy for that because that was aside from the emotional aspect of this job that you have now is something you're excited about. If we're just talking logistics, they were both pretty equal. You get around the same amount of pay. They both offer benefits, but the biggest difference made me the most uncomfortable, and that was that unemployment was a non-permanent position.
Hmm. There's that uncertainty. It's really not helpful at all.
Well, and I don't know about you, but there is way too much uncertainty and instability in the world. Is instability a
Hmm.
word? I majored in English. I should know that.
Instability
But
is a word.
I think, good God, I just want to take my degree back. But anyway, I'm happy that we both have stability in our careers or jobs because I'd love to grow my business, but that's not supporting us right now. My sub job is, and we both want to move into a house next year. And at some point within a year or year and a half, start a family, and all that costs money.
Hmm.
And I just wanted both of us to have stable jobs so that we can be on the right track to make those dreams come true.
Well, and it doesn't feel like that's asking for a lot, but at the moment it kind of seems like it, you know?
Every single time in the whole history of us job hunting, and more so for you, Brian, because you've had more difficulties with it through no fault of your own, though, we kept saying that. We're like, it really shouldn't be that difficult. We're not asking to be multimillionaires. It would be nice. But we're not asking for that. We're just asking for a stable job with benefits and decent pay.
Hmm.
And you think that wouldn't be too much to ask for, but apparently it is.
Apparently, that's just kind of the theme of this year, I guess.
Well, I've had a lot of time to think at work because I'm not always doing stuff at work. And I was walking the track at the school I work at. And I was thinking where we were around 7 months ago, back in March. On March 12th, I got the phone call that the district was shutting down for 6 weeks, although we all kind of had a feeling it was probably going to be for the rest of the year. And then March 16th, it shut down. And thankfully, I was able to get unemployment, but that was our only source of income aside from our tax return. And you were working really hard to try to work on real estate and then apply for jobs, but as we've talked about before, you can't just make something happen. You have to kind of rely on others to give you a
Hmm.
job. and there was just so much uncertainty. There was a lot of, I wouldn't say there was a ton of financial stress in the sense that, we've prepared for rainy days and we have safety nets in our parents. So we were never in a dire situation, but it wasn't a comfortable
Right.
situation. And I was just thinking, okay, we just got to make it 6 months because by 6 months, the school year will have started and I will know whether or not I'm subbing. And so I feel like it came almost all at once because the school year started. I was like, okay, great. I have a constant gig. I'm going to be working perfect. And then not long after, you got hired at this place. So it's like perfect. It just all kind of fell together.
That's how it's supposed to be, but we just haven't really had that much luck with it until now. But hopefully, this is going to open up a lot of other stuff for us, like houses, which we probably will start house hunting here relatively soon.
I already have been.
I know you have.
You gave me a budget, and I'm like, all right, awesome. I'm rolling with it. Let's do this.
And yeah, so it's all very exciting here.
Yeah, I obviously there's still the looming aspect of the pandemic. There are still a lot of hardships with that, especially dealing with my anxiety regarding all of the pandemic stuff. But at least I feel like our personal lives are being put back together. They were never completely in shambles. Like, it's not like we went through the worst things ever, but it was a new experience for us both not
Yeah,
working. And I'm glad that we're both working now and we have two paychecks to rely on. And
it's just
I
getting
feel
back
like
on
I
track.
can, exactly, back on track. I feel more comfortable. Perfect. I'm also happy though, because this job of yours is permanently remote.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for the foreseeable
So,
future.
exactly. So you'll be working from home.
Yeah, well, because a lot of companies have figured out that they don't really need a big, expensive office because everybody can work just fine from home. So why
Exactly.
spend thousands of dollars on an office when you don't need to?
Well, and I feel like it's added a lot of flexibility to our lives because I have no complaints about both of us working full time. But obviously, that creates a bit of like scheduling difficulties. But with me being a sub and pretty much saying, yeah, I can't, I have to take time off for an appointment, here's my time off thing. And with you working at home, meaning we don't have to use both cars, both of those together add a lot of flexibility to our schedules, which I really love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely frees us up in case we need to do anything or go anywhere last minute or anything like that.
Exactly. Or, my mom and dad and sister live together and they only have two cars and if they need to borrow one, it's like, okay, just let us know ahead of time. We only use one car on a normal basis. So,
Mm-hmm.
and the most important thing of all, at least in my world, is that you will be home with Theo.
Yeah, well, he needs someone to be there with him and hang out with.
Well, he's gotten very spoiled. When we first got him, we were both working, and even though I was part time, and then when you were studying for your real estate license, you were home, and then the pandemic hit, and both of us were home all the time, and he got very used to that.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs someone around. He's a little social butterfly.
Yeah, well, he's got a little bit of codependence going on there.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say that. No, we're very thankful, I guess, is the long and short of it. Is we're very thankful that I can continue to sub. I did not want to find a new job. I would have if I had to, but I really didn't want to have to do that. And then thankful that after all of the jobs you applied for, you made it your job to find a job. You worked so hard and you got one.
I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
So, anything new with the school district going on? Many new policies or procedures they're doing? Or
We are virtual learning for the foreseeable future. By now, all the elementary schools were supposed to be in a hybrid model. So, like A students come on certain days and B students come on other days. But the caseload in Pierce County has gone up. So, we have made the decision to not have kids in school, which I support. I'm nervous about subbing virtually because it's new to me. And I wish it was this time last year when I was just doing my thing normally. But given the caseload going up and given how germy kids can be, I'm okay with it.
Well, I suppose there's worse things.
Yeah. Well, and I got told I'm the building sub for a certain school, which is not the norm. Usually it's just a pool of subs and you just pick and choose assignments throughout the district. But I think they're trying to reduce the amount of new bodies in buildings.
Hmm.
So it's supposed to be the building sub for September, October, but they're extending it through the end of January. So I'll be at my school, this month, November, December, and January, and then they'll update us then on if we're going to be building subs the rest of the year or going back to the general sub pool.
Well, I personally think they're going to keep you on there as the sub unless things get dramatically better, just because it's been working out pretty well, and I mean, why would you disrupt something that's working smoothly? You know?
And I'd be okay at working for the same school the rest of the school year, but in regards to the start of next school year, I'd like to be back in the general sub pool.
Yeah, have that flexibility again.
Exactly, because I mean, it's not like it's as strict as like, okay, my old other jobs where I had to request time off to do an appointment. Now it's just like, hey, I have to leave early on this day, and then they'll update it in the system. So it's almost the same where I don't have to ask for permission, but it's still not as smooth as it was in the past where I just put it on my account. Yep, non-work day, not doing it.
Right.
That's it. So, but I can't complain. It's still pretty flexible. It's still a good gig, and it's going to be some good paychecks.
There you go. Well, hopefully things will go back to normal early next year, and because I know that everybody wants to go back to normal. Kids want to go back to school. Parents want their kids to go back to school. That kind of thing.
Yes, some days when I'm feeling anxious about my job and virtual learning and whatever, obviously as my therapist would say, I have a right to those feelings, but at the same time, I am very grateful that I'm not a teacher or an administrator. Teachers especially, they're put under so much pressure right now, and of course a lot of these teachers have kids of their own who are virtual learning, so I wish I could do more for them. They deserve so much praise right now because they're really doing things totally different, having to figure new problems out that they've never experienced before.
Yeah. Well, everybody's trying to figure it out as we go along here.
And I put the obligatory, I'm not a parent, so I don't understand what it's like to have kids in virtual learning. But if you are a parent, please take it easy on your teachers. They're trying just as much as you are. And I know there's teachers out there who maybe aren't the most easy to work with, but in my experience, all the teachers, they want what's best for your kids, and they're just as frustrated as you are with changes and new policies, so give them a break.
Well, unfortunately, there's just always going to be some people that don't want to be nice to what they view as the help.
Oh my God. Well, and what I want to say is there wasn't school from March to June this past, spring. So if you tried to teach your kids, you got a little taste of what it's like to be a teacher. And I say a taste because being a teacher is much more than teaching. It's all the behind the scenes stuff. So I might feel like I'm on my high horse right now, but I come from a family of teachers, and obviously I'm a sub and have gotten to know a lot of teachers, and there's a lot going on that you don't even know that they do, and they're doing whatever they can to do what's best for your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And rant.
Yeah.
I'll always defend teachers, though, always. Well, I was really excited for this podcast because it was such good news, and it's such a good feeling to, at least in our personal world, have a teeny bit back of that feeling of what we normally felt. So I'm happy for that, and I'm super proud of you for this job, and I know you're going to do great, and I think we should get a new desk for you. I think we should do some desk shopping because you're going to need it.
Well, I appreciate that, and we'll see what we can do here.
Awesome. And there is no way an ulterior motive for you to get a desk so I can organize it. None at all.
No, not at all, no.
Well, thank you for listening. You can go ahead and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course on YouTube. And we'll see you next time.
See you later.